Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome finally to, you guessed it, Diretide. This is a little intro video on how Diretide exactly works, as well as what Diretide will bring to us this year. First and foremost, when you come into the front menu, you'll see that you have this little candy bucket. This is your Diretide points. Your Diretide points throughout the season. Players will earn Diretide points by playing regular Dota matches as well as Diretide game mode. Every 100 points, you will earn one of Roshan's many rewards, which includes hollow chests. Now, what these rewards are exactly is this revamped treasure, which is one over here, which contains one of 60 wondrous creations along tier-based releases. So as you could see here are all of the things you could get from this new box, including some emblems of divinity, which are Halloween based, and it's also based on whichever ones you want in particular. So the emblems of divinity are also now called the enigmatic emblem of Diretide, either blue, green, red, which is actually orange, or yellow, which is actually yellow. It looks more green than the rest. But basically, there's a box that has 60 total possible items in it, and there are absolutely an insane amount of things you could get out of this. Now, the big thing about this is that I have friends who don't really care for cosmetics, so I will most likely be asking them for their chests, because these chests and the contents within them are instantly tradable upon getting them right off the get-go. As you can see, there is a trade-up option as well as a sell option within the chest-based page for your 60 plus rewards. Now, there's also an extra 15 rewards that are scattered throughout the whole entire area. With that being said, you can see here with the extra 15 rewards that you could have here, but I believe when I click this, it takes us to the website. So you'll just have to go to the website in order to see that. But here we go with the whole entire return. You could play the seasonal game mode, which is collect candy, put it in a basket, and then you use the candy to your advantage, or use it to your negative advantage. Roshan will eventually turn around and start killing the opponents, or just end up making it to where they want more damn candy. The hollow chest of Diretide, like we already talked about, contains 60 creations, plus you can buy and sell or trade them up immediately. So, say you didn't get a tier 1 or tier 2 set you like, well, by all means, you could re-roll, put it up for trade up, and get a tier 2 set that you want. So here's the earning Diretides. Basically, every 100 points will net you a reward, including hollow chests. So basically, you could get both a item as well as one of the various Halloween-based seasonal event skins. And what I mean by that is that there are 2 bundles of 21 heroes with a seasonal shimmer effect bonus. Now, what is a shimmer effect, you ask? Well, it makes them look very dead looking. Like they're like corpses, obviously. And then there's the Diretide shader effect, which I believe when you die, something happens. But I have not seen a lot of these shader effects or anything like that. You have a chance to also get a prized trunk of the Diretide, which I believe is another chest that is actually already in the store that you'd be able to buy right off the get-go. No, it's not actually. Looks like the first thing in here is just the hollowed key of Diretide. The prize trunk of Diretide is a whole entire different treasure on top of the 60 plus box. Where this treasure is, I have no idea, but it might be a treasure you earn passively throughout the game as well. So that might be something you want to look forward to. But basically, Diretide now is making it to where people are basically forced to come back into the game after having their long duration breaks. So it's kind of straightforward, actually. There's not really much to explain. Here we could go and click on the how to play, and as you can see, it's collect taffy, cut down the creeps, and secure the Greevil taffy. Heroes also drop their candy when defeated, so harvest with haste. Heap piles of taffy into your trove, but beware enemies' thievery and tricks. After one of your candy wells is destroyed, your opponent can rob you blind. And then there's Satiate the Beast. Roshan's hunger is not to be ignored. Feed taffy to Roshan to briefly satisfy him, but beware, failure to feed him will result in your death and a brutal team-wide curse. Basically, you're playing a normal game of Dota 2, but with a Diretide twist to it. And there's not really too much else to really explain with Diretide. It's kind of just Roshan is leaving the pit, and he's ruining your game. But that being said, you could play normal games of Dota 2 and earn both your points here as well. Just remember that every time you do end up playing this, there is a daily bonus. I don't think you have to win either, I think you just have to play. But battle the enemy team to collect more tap fee for each round before the time runs out. The first team to win the first 3 rounds will claim victory. Now keep in mind, it's still basically a normal game of Dota. So in reality, you're just playing Dota with a Diretide twist. Now this is not the classic Diretide. This is the revamped Diretide I believe we had in 2016. So not the old Grievil one. Not the old Diretide. But this is about the most genuine-esque experience you could get with Diretide of recent. And now you have these boxes. The big thing you have to know about these boxes, though, is that you do actually have to buy keys in order to open these boxes. They're running it back. I guess the best way to put it is that they're running it back to the old TF2 method. Everything is immediately tradable, but you need keys. And that seems pretty straightforward overall. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Welcome back to the world of Dota 2 and Diretide. So, I hope you enjoyed. This is Party PD signing off. See, hang on, that's like the wrong order. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time for some more Dota 2 Diretide action very soon. A video will be up on how to play Diretide from within the game itself. So, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time. It's Party PD signing off.